The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
All right. All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? I'm doing okay as long as we get over these technical issues.
Oh, my
What's going on today, man? Oh, you know what? I forgot. It's Halloween. My bad. I forgot.
That's why.
That's why.
You know, so listen, I'm gonna just tell this disclaimer. Hopefully, you know, the neighborhood kids, maybe I should close the blinds so they can write Scrooge on the wall.
That's Scrooge.
Knock on. No, I'm just kidding. You know how the kids, they go trick or treat and be like, no treats now.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
What's good, man?
Nothing much. Looking forward to the weekend. Gonna do some celebrating this weekend or whatever like that. But otherwise, I'm good. You know, the weather's changing and everything.
So you have your pre-B-Day is coming up, right? Is that what you're doing? Your pre-B-Day celebration?
I'm doing my pre-B-Day celebration for the entire month of November.
Oh my goodness! So just so I get this correct, your birthday is on the 7th.
We're not disclosing when my birthday is. That's a holiday guarded secret.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Or like you
know that information. We're not giving that information away.
Right.
Oh no.
All right. So by way of quick pre-show banter. So today, Adam, listen, I went to the barbershop today and I was minding my business and I ain't asked no questions or nothing. But soon as it got real interesting, I said, you're gonna like this part. Soon as what he does, his little process, he give you a little bit of the old school and you come in there, even though he's a young guy, he give you the little wash your hair, all that. I'm like, all right, give me the whole little service, right? To make a long story short, soon as he gets me to the wash bowl, he always starts off, right? He starts to go on about what's going on. He said, what's going on with you? I said, nothing, I'm good. I didn't ask no questions. Then he says, yeah, man, my girl getting baptized this weekend. I said, wait, hold on, we done skipped from fighting. We done skipped from arguing to finding Jesus. So I told him, I said, wait, hold on a minute. I said, just pause for a minute.
Right.
He says she's getting baptized, and he says, yeah, this weekend. So I said, where the church at? I said, I might have to come in and support on this one. And he gonna say, we going to Alabama. That's his hometown. That's where he's from.
Okay.
I said, so I ain't even asked what the significance of Alabama was. But to make a long story short, they're gonna go back home this weekend. She's gonna get baptized. Her mother and her stepdad is going too. So the significance about that stepmother and father is, you know, they got it's like a little clash thing going on. You know, he has his points that he feels they don't support him on when it comes to her being spoiled and how she acts out. And it's like whatever he says is always his fault. Let him tell him, right? So it got a little more interesting today because as he kept talking about baptism, I asked him, I said, so, you know, I said, just out of curiosity, I said, what do you think made her come to this point. I said, that's real random. I said, not that I don't ever support you getting
super random, right?
Yes, but I was super random to just say, out of the way you all talk and the way you all live, you say right this minute, now she want to get baptized. And he said, right. Well, yeah, she's want to get baptized because, you know, then he goes, like he always does, he goes on a tangent. He says, yeah, and then, you know, she need to do something to come to grips with stuff because, see, I told her I done had enough. I had enough. So he talking about he's had enough. And then he said something about she have these inappropriate conversations and he done caught her on the phone with these guys and all of this stuff. And so I was like, wow. So I said, is this coming to Jesus or is this you telling her this the only way she's going to keep you? Which one is it? Right. Now it's painting a different picture. He's going to say, nah. But do you think I should apologize to her mother? I said, why you say that? He said, because one time we got in an argument and she had told me to get out while her mom was there because it's quote unquote department is in her name, remember? The department is in her name. So they had an argument and she told him to get out and he was grabbing his stuff to get out and she starts fighting him. Like, you know how they're hitting on his back while he's trying to
Yeah.
He said, look, leave me alone. He got to the front door and she tried to block the door. And he said the mom and the stepfather just sitting there looking like, what are y'all doing? So he said, I said to them, I said, look, you need to get your daughter. She over here acting like a real boop right now, right? Mama said, my daughter ain't no B. And he said, my temper he said, I got a little lost. He said, I said, both of y'all are B. I said, you done messed up. I said,
oh, Lord.
So I gave him some advice. I told him this. I said, listen, clearly you love this girl.
Right.
I said, you done told me a whole list of reasons I probably could have told you to go ahead and leave her alone, but you still with her. So you love her, and she's y'all have this toxic exchange going. Both of y'all ain't going nowhere, right? Y'all both are there. Mm-mm. So I said, how about this? If she's really going to get baptized, and if the mother and stepfather is going to, why don't you, I said, after the baptism should put things in a high place. So after the baptism, why don't you suggest y'all go to dinner at the church?
Okay.
Then when you at dinner, suggest to them while things are kind of chilling, just say, hey, I know me and so-and-so have been at this for a bit. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of turbulence, this, that, and the other.
Right.
I was proposing in light of something like this today as new beginnings. I was going to say, can we, I want you to forgive me if I've offended y'all in any way, if you feel I did ill will treatment to you, vice versa, and we reset this relationship and go from there. I told him, I said, I'm going to be honest with you, the only time you probably can pull this off is the baptism weekend. So that's why I told him, use that leverage as the baptism weekend and go on with there, Hopefully, I hope it works.
But Charles, come on, man. Listen. It's like this, man. Listen, I understand that relationships have struggles, have difficult moments, have periods of just disagreement, and we're not together, we're not in harmony with one another, we're not synchronized. But dude, whenever I get that, it's a struggle the whole way through. Yeah. And you got to fight for every inch of ground. Yeah. I'm like, this may not be it. I may need to look for somebody else. And here, listen, everybody understand. Every relationship is going to have its moments. I've had my moments with my wife. We've had our moments.
Yeah.
But it ain't been like that.
Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning, dude, this is toxic. This is a toxic relationship.
You know what I have found, especially in this generation, if it's not, listen to me slowly when I say this.
All right.
If in today's generation, if it's not toxic, it's not popping.
Wow.
If it's not, they need you. Wow. They need to be able to look in your phone at any time and see 4 girls naked selfies so they can cuss at you. The guys need to be able to threaten you. Nonetheless, it's it's a toxic exchange. And
my God.
Here's the thing. Other people, instead of other people becoming the detractors, they are the attractors. I'm more attracted to you, more drama you have, more people like you. I think I got somebody good because they all liking you. So I got the best trauma partner.
Right.
So basically, that's where it is now.
So basically, if we're not experiencing trauma in our relationships, and if we're not having that drama happen on a regular basis, then this is boring.
Yeah, it's lame. Boring. That's, as they put it, it's lame.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be lame. I'm gonna be lame. I'm gonna be boring because I don't want none of that drama. It's funny. Me and my wife had that conversation early on. She was like, I'm not about drama. I told her I'm not about drama. We not about no drama. We no. We're not doing none of that. The fact is, I'm too old for that foolishness. I ain't got time. I'm trying to enjoy the rest of my days. Hello, somebody. I ain't got time for all this toxicity. I would rather have a boring, humdrum, lame marriage than to have all that toxicity. That ain't no. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that, bro. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what it is? Think about this. Now we're gonna get into the show, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we already did.
The point is about that is you would be surprised the number of, I mean, I can't say it's just women, but today, even in the grown and sexy era of people in age group, if it's in their mindset, if it's not exciting, if it's not pulling out some sort of drama, if I'm not feeling anxiety, if I'm not feeling like I might lose you tomorrow if you don't come back home, then it becomes boring. It's almost like the house drama is the excitement and the adrenaline for life. And if you don't have it, it's boring. You know what I'm
saying? Listen. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I'm gonna tell y'all this. And I know I might not have no supporters with this. But whenever me and my wife do have a disagreement and we're not on the same page, I don't sleep right at night. I don't sleep right, and I know she don't sleep. We both tossing and turning over stuff that we haven't figured out how to make it right yet. Wow. I don't like that conflict like that. And I understand that conflict is a part of our relationships. It is. It helps us to grow. It helps us to mature. It helps us to see things from our partner's perspective. Conflict is necessary, but conflict should not be the norm. Conflict shouldn't be the everyday occurrence in your relationship with the person that you're with. Again, I don't like it when we don't agree. I want peace in my home, but I want peace in me too. And when I'm not in harmony with you, I'm like, we got to figure this out because I don't like the way this feels. The household is not right. You can always feel that this sense of uneasiness, tension. You know what I'm saying? You know, your stomach is bubbling and you're like, oh, Lord, I don't feel good. Let me get some pep or something. I can't live like that. I don't see how anybody would want to live in a place of dis-ease. You know what I'm saying? I can't see how you can live in a spot where you're both not on the same page. And again, I understand that conflict and disagreement is a natural part of our relationships, but it can't be that we exist off of that we subsist off of that we are like addicted to the toxicity in our relationships. That's not, no, man. I don't think that's not cool. That's not cool. And here's the other thing. The fact that you're going through this means that you're going to continue to experience this trauma in your own mind. You never get to a point where it's resolved. It's I'm going from one problem to the next problem to the next problem, and you never have any peace in your relationship. Where is your harmony? Where is your synergy? How are you not synchronized together and walking together in agreement? That's why the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? You can't walk together because you're not in agreement. You got to have some harmony somewhere in there. I mean,
no, that's good stuff. I mean, you look at it like in the absence of both parties having peace, weird enough, their security is in their mutual dysfunction.
Wow.
You're just as jacked up as me, so where are you going? Yeah. Nobody wants you. I'm the only silly one dealing with your stuff. You know how people always say, ain't nobody, I done put up with your stuff for, that's why they always say, I done put up with your stuff for all these years.
Wow.
I've been your psychological food, basically, for all these years. And so that's what it is. And so that's a sign of people that should be a sign to say, you know, I gotta get healthy. I can't love and continue to exist like this. This is crazy. Yeah.
But you know what the messed up part about this, and I know we're gonna move on to the subject. We really are gonna talk about what we're supposed to talk about. But you know what the messed up part about this is now, I think you kind of alluded to it, is the fact that some of us are only accustomed to dysfunction. Yeah. We don't know what it is to have a healthy, functioning relationship with somebody. We don't know what it means to have a wholesome connection to a person that we can enjoy and that fulfills us and we fulfill them. We only know about the toxicity because that's the only model that we have to go by. That the pattern that we live and that we see is the pattern that has been given to us from dysfunctional households.
Yeah.
From mom and dad killing each other, literally in front of the kids, arguing each other down. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that we know is to us is normal. Yeah. The abnormal have become normal to us because that's the only model, that's the only pattern that we have to go after, to live after. That's where the real problem is at. And that's the reason why we continue to go after or attract people that are also just as dysfunctional as we are.
Yeah. And listen, ratchet news flash. Until we as a people unhinge our bonds that are based off somebody's financial status or an orgasm. I'm gonna say that. I say that again.
Okay.
A lot of the foolishness out here is it is stuck in a paused, dysfunctional state based off of someone's look. We're more loyal to somebody's ability to give us a specific orgasm than we are them.
Wow.
Oh, we care. Let me tell you something. They can do. Yes, they can. Listen, whenever you hear a person describe more activity between you than they do attributes about you, they don't want you. They only want what you give them.
For them, right?
When you hear somebody talking about somebody good, they're going to be like, let me tell you something, man. When I was in this position, I couldn't believe how that person showed up for me. Now, you may like the sex, right? You may like all of those things, but that's not going to be the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
When you sit there and say, man, let me tell you what she was just doing to me under the table, or what I did to her. If that's all that you say, that's all that you envision. You don't like anything else. Like life outside of the bedroom is boring to you because that's your reason that you wanted them. In most of these relationships today, and unfortunately, it's an easy equation to understand, because if you have images all over the internet and everywhere, every site, everything, everybody is advertising their best life and best side. Look, their best side. Men and women. Right. People aren't going after your best life. They're going after your best side.
Right.
What that side do.
Yeah.
What people are doing is all of these relationships are being birthed off of lust. All of them. It's like, oh my, I got to, hey man, because if we honest, yes, attraction is important. Very important. But when you see, if I'm somewhere and I'm at an event and you are a bottle girl. You could be super attractive or a bottle guy, whatever, vice versa. And you see that person next to naked, you ain't thinking, if they're laughing and kikiing in your face, you're not thinking about having some sit down conversation with some tea by the lake and talk and all this. You are trying to say, what you doing after this? Where you going to be after this? Because the person going to be like, why? Because I need to be with you. I need to see you. Right. I need to immediately cash in on this lust.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got. That's why a lot of this stuff out here is on fire and toxic, because it was lit with a lust match. So yeah.
So again, not to drag this on.
Okay, all right. Let's come on.
Listen, not to drag this on, but I want to say this. So what's interesting about this, Charles, is the fact that if I'm only interested in that particular attribute of you, that gives me the thrill.
Yeah.
If that's the only part of you that helps me to feel fulfilled and makes me feel good, then what happens when you can't do that anymore? What happens when you can no longer take me on the $100,000 shopping sprees, and you can't buy the bottles in the club, and you can't take me to the 5-star restaurants, and you can't buy me Cartier, and you can't do all? What happens then? So you mean to tell me it's so my relationship with you, again, and we all know this, is purely transactional. It's all about what you can do for me and how you can make me feel. When you can no longer fulfill my lustful desires, when you can no longer satisfy my appetite, then that means you're no good for anything.
Yeah, because the next thing they're going to do is they're going to answer the next text in their phone or the next DM in their private message. That's how transactional people operate.
Yeah.
They transact with you as long as the transaction is working in their favor.
Wow.
And once it no longer works, or listen, transactional people are they're almost like the stocks and bonds, the stockbrokers, because they can already say, you know what, this stock is performing. It's been performing really well the first month, but I think I see it sliding. So I think I'm going to go over here and talk to this person.
Right.
I need to keep this stock growing.
Okay.
So we go from stock vine to stock vine, looking for the next man or woman who can keep us elevated where we feel we need to be. Whether that is intimately ratchet ways or financially you paying all these bills, whatever. That's what we look for. I know you got to say something. Oh, go ahead.
No, because the only thing I was going to do here, I watched this. I'm going to segue into the topic for today, because it's interesting that we're talking about in this particular aspect. I think one of the things that we need to really pay attention to when it comes to meeting people, being introduced to people, going on dates with them, is that we need to pay attention to their cues, their personality cues, how they are. Because if I'm only able to fulfill you in one particular aspect, then I'm not for you.
Yes.
And I know that might be hard to hear for everybody, but if I'm only able to fulfill one or a few things in your life, then it might mean that I'm not for you. And we got to be able to and I know, again, this is, you talk about stuff and you don't always want to hear what the conversation is, but it might mean that what I want from you isn't what I actually need in a relationship.
Wow.
And again, we've already talked about this previously, but I think we have great difficulty in being able to differentiate between what I want and what I need. So my GPS in regards to relationships should be pointing me toward what I actually need, not what I actually want.
Ooh.
You see how this is? And often we don't want what we need.
Yeah.
We want what we want because we see that as something that thrills us and it makes us happy and it fulfills us and it tickles those parts of us where our lust and our appetites are engaged. Yeah. But all the while we're ignoring and we're neglecting the actual need that we have. I need somebody to check me. I need somebody to call me out on when I'm not doing the right thing. I need somebody to talk to me and get me to talk. That's what I need. But what I want is hips, lips, and fingertips. What I want is a nice shape. What I want is somebody to do what I want them to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so listen. That sounds great. Listen. Okay, listen. And in today's topic, we're talking about your gut is your GPS. Mm-hmm. Basically, what we're saying, your intuitive beacon of awareness is your gut. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important to say this before we go any further.
Okay.
If you look at our phones have in the settings, it has locations under privacy, it has location services.
Okay.
You can turn it on or you could turn it off. Leaving it on in real time compared to us is saying, I want to be open and aware to receive those warning signals that come my way. Right. When I see them, when something doesn't sound right, when something doesn't look right, when something doesn't feel right, because my location services are on, I'm open to all signals. Key is, are you honest enough of a lover to say, when you go into these things, sometimes we're so smitten by what we found and what we think is aligning with what's in our journals of a partner, that we go into the settings and we turn it off. When you turn it off, you're now saying, I want to be undetectable. Don't remind me about what you saw that person doing out or where you see them. Just let me stay in my off the grid state.
Right.
Say that because the thing about GPS is just really, are you going to adhere to the directions? Soon as it goes off, obviously, if you're using it, you don't know where you're going.
Right.
So then you're saying, bam, you hit it, you activate it. All right, I'm in this relationship. I don't all the way know this person. I think they're nice, but please help me find my way. Right. So the GPS intuition is like, okay, I'm gonna help you, but I need you to understand first that we are dealing with, and this I'm talking out into the ether. One thing I have learned in life is, never ever get so comfortable, right, with anybody that you forget the fact that before they are your spouse, fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they are human.
That's right.
And because they are human, they are prone to be able to disappoint you, depending on the level of disappointment or whatever the infraction, but they're prone to do it. And I think one of the biggest disservices we do ourselves is not saying to live in fear, but when I think of love, I look at faith being the engine, because faith is telling me I'm trusting and I'm believing that this person is going to have my best interest.
Right.
I wrote something a couple of weeks ago when I said certainty is the enemy of faith. And I said that because that's saying never be so comfortable with anything that you stand on the fact that it will never cross or disappoint you.
Right.
So the thing I say, and this is another aspect of this that's really key. An important part of GPS, your gut, any of that is being able to be intuitive enough to follow energy cues. Energy cues tell the whole story. Yeah. And this is what I'm telling you what I know. People, it's like it's either you need to be honest about feeling it and honest when you don't. Because when somebody, think about this. Let's just say, I'm gonna use you as an example. Yeah. You are Maria, that's your wife, you could be at home, she could be doing what she's doing. Heck, she could be on a job trip, but nothing about that distance between you makes you feel threatened. You feel that's like, oh, she loves me, and there's a confidence that comes with it. Not saying taking it for granted.
No, not at all.
Spiritual confidence that comes with your bond. Right? But when we get to the point where we underestimate it to the point to think that when people are away or not are necessarily in our presence, that we feel as though we know exactly how they're moving. And I only say this. Listen, think about food and think about how when somebody, like we may have a loved one or someone close, and they'll say, I'm really going to go on this diet. I'm going to stop eating all of these sugar, all of this other stuff like this, and I'm really going to put it down. And I promise you, I'm going to do it. And so, you ever notice how you'll see them go get all prepared? They go and buy fruit. They're doing all these things. And you're like, okay. And then later, when you're quietly moving about the space that you share with them, you see remnants of them cheating.
Okay.
This is not what they said they're going to not stop eating. They're doing it, right? They're eating it. And so the point I'm making is one of the most important things in a relationship is the reality of distance. And I'm not necessarily talking about long distance. That's right. But I'm talking about that spiritual distance feeling tells the whole story. And so what I always say is when a person is hungry for something that they're not getting from you, right? One of three things are going to happen. They are either going to plead to eat with you. They're going to, if you don't do it, some of them are so bold to go and eat right in your face, or they're going to eat behind your back. But one way or another, people are going to satisfy themselves, however that looks. And I think that's a sobering truth that we don't necessarily come to grips with. And it's like, I think instead of most of us live our lives from a reactive perspective. True. We go along blind, we blind, and love is blind, and we going on until something strikes a serious chord, and now our whole life is disrupted because we're like, I had no idea you were doing it. You understand? So we go through that.
Right.
Then there is the other side of not necessarily saying I don't want to say you're guarded, but you prepare yourself in truth. And you prepare yourself by saying, look, I'm a human, they're a human. I love them, they profess their love for me. Am I perfect? Are they perfect? No. Right. Do I, and be honest, do I want to discover something adverse between us? No. But I have grinded enough truth up in myself to understand it happens. Yeah. And so, honestly, listen, if you walk around void of this is how people end up in mental hospitals, and all sorts of things, because when this disappointment happens, we are almost always caught way off guard. Okay. And we messed up by it. And then you have people to this day who can barely be in a functioning relationship without the fear of looming cheating. The first thing they said, where was you? Oh, because you're cheating. Oh, why was it cheating? I think you probably was cheating. No, the other person cheat. You're cheating. You cheat. You're like, oh my God. And it almost makes you say, now don't get me wrong. Is it a reality? Of course.
It is.
But if it's the first thing that's always out of your mouth, you haven't just been traumatized. You've been tattooed.
Wow.
And you got to deal with that because it's not going to go away, because it's not realistic to think I can just be around you all the time and that'll mitigate that. Because now it'll go from you being with me to now when we was at that restaurant, I saw you was doing too much talking to the waitress. Don't play in my face. See, now you with me, but you still don't trust me. So now that's a bigger problem, right? So that's a bigger issue happening. And so that's why we got to say to ourselves, look, first things first, the intuitive GPS is for our goodness. I feel like it was a gift to us. It's like God's way of saying, I'm not going to have you out here bad like that. So let me give you this gift right here, right?
Okay, right.
Are you going to listen to it?
Right.
Think of all the times we have knew good and well we felt something or knew something was terribly off.
Yeah.
And then we went to sleep. Well, get up and deal with it tomorrow. Or as long as it don't come on my doorsteps, it's okay.
Wow.
Really, it's not, right?
Wow. Yeah. So you said a lot.
Right.
You said a whole lot. So here's the thing, though, too, and it's interesting that you would talk about the distance and the closeness that we have in our relationship. We're not talking about a geographical distance, but thus the what you have in terms of proximity in your relationship, closeness in your relationship. Because you're right, you can all be in the same house, and I've experienced this before. You can all be in the same house, in the same place together, but yet you can be miles apart.
Yes.
Because there is no relationship closeness that's there.
Yeah.
You're definitely not on the same page. You're not in the same book, and you're probably not in the same library. You're probably world apart because there has not been any coming together. You know what's interesting, though, that you talk about this whole GPS thing in terms of relationships. I realize that, and I think it's kind of going back to what I was talking about before about wants and needs. I've come to the realization that I did not exactly know what I needed in a relationship. I didn't. And that was a realization that I had with my wife. And I think, like you said, Charles, God gives us this GPS inclination, if you will, or this kind of knowing that this is the direction that you need to be headed in. Because if I'm honest, and again, having lived on the East Coast, now living in the Midwest, living in Chicago, I don't know where nothing is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't.
Where nothing is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And on top of that, to make things worse, I am not good with direction. You can't tell me where to go and I'm gonna go. No, you got to show me. And so thank God there was MapQuest. Okay, there was Google Maps back in the day, and now we got GPS on our phones that we can follow. Okay. And I'm saying that all to say this is that I did not know that Maria, my wife, was the destination that I was headed in. Because the destination is what I needed. I didn't know that that's what I needed.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when I put it into the phone to find, okay, I need to go such and such. I need to go such and such. Because I'm not familiar. Oh, man. Because I'm not familiar with the area. I'm not familiar with how to get there. I'm not familiar with the traffic patterns. I'm not familiar with the traffic lights. I'm not familiar with anything in terms of how to get there. I have to follow the GPS.
Wow.
I have to be in tune. I have to look at it. I have to watch it while I'm driving so that I can make sure, watch this, I can make sure I arrived to my prescribed destination.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know that the destination is a lifelong relationship with Maria. But if I keep following my GPS, See, because in the GPS, you can get other destinations as you go along. You'll see other stops that you can make as you go along, but that's not your destination.
Yeah.
Your destination is the place that you're going to. And again, like I said before, a lot of us, we don't know what we need. We know what we want.
Yeah, we don't even know that sometimes.
Well, that's true. Sometimes what we want is just jacked up, it's just screwed up. You want that? Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
And so thankfully, God is in our lives to such a degree that He will guide us to what we need. But again, often, Charles, we end up rejecting what we need for what we actually want, because we think this particular place over here is the place that we should be going, but it ain't where we should be headed.
Should be, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so because of that, we don't realize that you're not where you're supposed to be. Now, often when I'm looking at my GPS, because I've grown I've gotten some familiarity in terms of certain places, in terms of like coming home or going to the store. I can take a little shortcut, or I can take another route in order to get there. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't always necessarily mean that's the best route for me to take, because there's a reason why. If you notice, there are some settings on your GPS that will tell you if you should take the toll road or if you should take the highway. And if you're not paying attention, you won't be able to know where you're going, because often I'll look at my GPS, it'll say, hey, traffic ahead. Can we reroute you on a faster route to where you're going?
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it'll reroute you to where you're going. Again, all I'm saying is if we're not paying attention to the GPS that God has given us, personality cues, I'll even say it like this, the leading of the Holy Spirit, if we're not paying attention to these things and we walk into a relation with this particular person and we're not giving our attention to some of the things that they are doing, then we'll end up in situations and in relationships that wasn't our intended destination.
Yeah, that's good, man. And that's a sign of when we are faced with the opportunity to either, are we going to trust the organic gift GPS, or are we going to put confidence in our mind and what we think?
Yeah.
See, we think about how there has been times where I have put a GPS. Well, here's another thing that we do. You'll put the GPS on long enough to get you out of the foreign area.
Right.
You got the foreign area. Oh, I know where I'm going to cut it off. So we don't follow through. We think, well, this is good enough. I can take it from here. I know some faster routes, some shortcuts, and go down here. And you, in those shortcuts, look, if you took some shortcuts, Adam, you would have ended up with Tammy, Keisha, so-and-so. By the time you would have got to Maria, you might would have found Maria, but you might have found a different version of Maria.
Okay. Well, I might have been a different version. As
a result of your disobedience. So see, that's it. Because a lot of times what we don't understand is we can be great people, but if we delay arrivals to one another, we end up with more baggage than what we would have had if we initially went there at the appointed time.
Yeah.
So it's not that the wheel isn't the wheel, but the wheel, when you get to the wheel after you have consumed your wheel, the wheel can look quite different, right? And so you got to be mindful of, that's a good point you brought about I didn't think about it from the angle of from inside out with the GPS getting you to where you belong, as opposed to just heeding to those warnings while in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because the only thing I was going to add to that is that often, because I'm a GPS fan, I am a GPS fan all day long. Because again, I don't know where I am, but I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm right there. But often when I put my GPS on and I'm looking to places where I know how to get to, I pay attention to how much time. Oh my goodness, how much time it's going to take me to get to where I'm going.
Wow.
Now, if I take a detour or try to go some other route, I risk that I might not arrive when I'm supposed to get there. Lord, I feel like preaching right now.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the time, but if I take a different route, I might actually get there later than what I intend to get there.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I adhere to the direction that the GPS is giving me, so that I arrive not only to the destination that I'm supposed to be at, but I arrive there in the time that I'm supposed to be there, so that I can meet with the people that I'm supposed to meet. Often, a lot of us look at the GPS and we disregard it because we think we know better. We think we know how to get there. We think we know all the cuts in terms of how to get to where we're supposed to be going. But the reality is, you don't know enough.
Yeah, you don't.
Listen. I'm getting older. I'm celebrating a birthday this coming weekend. Yeah. The reality is that even as old as I am, I still don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Which means I need somebody to give me the direction so that I can get to where I'm going at the time that I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We don't know. We don't know enough, y'all. We act like we know, but we don't know enough.
We don't at all. Let me tell you what I have learned, and this is a funny joke, but it's the truth. I used to didn't always use Google Maps.
Okay.
I used to be loyal to MapQuest, the MapQuest app. But check this out. Whenever you put a destination in the MapQuest app, it always gives you 3 options. It'll tell you, it'll say, oh, this one is probably this, and they're all will be similar in time. Different, longer, some have longer routes. Maybe you're going away from the highway, you're on the back roads. And I'm saying that to say, in Google Maps, I click in it and it gives me 1 route.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that is, I took something from that, right? Because I said, man, why do you like having 3 options? You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And thinking you can arrive at such and such location by taking this choice and this choice.
Right.
You can just on tonight, just with the Google Maps and just take the one location and just head there. I've certainly took the back roads. I went to the riverbeds. I've been in the mountain tops. But I learned, Bruce, on tonight that you only just really needs 1 straight route to get to where you gotta go. But,
you're about to make me sing a song, but I'm about to go church on you. I'm about to go church, but I'm about to let it go one way. Somebody said one way to God. Somebody said one way.
Oh God! But I'm telling you, man, it's like listen, I'm gonna hold to that part about our. I think many of us, if we are honest to our intuitions, it's meant to save you harm.
It is.
It's like. It doesn't help to ignore anything that ails you or pains you even in life. If you got a serious pain that's hurting you every day that you don't talk about, it's only going to get worse if you don't address it, right? So with your intuition, when you know it's just not right?
Yeah.
When you know it's just not right, or you don't feel them. Like sometimes you got to be honest. I don't feel you.
Right.
What you mean? I just don't feel your energy connected. I no longer feel the connection. It feels like either you or me has cut this line. Now, who's going to be honest first, right? Okay. But I don't feel you. And it's like, so you do right by the person that you feel. And vice versa. You want to be felt and you want to feel them. That's the best relationships. But when we get ourselves into these relationships where we are bound by titles, but are enemies of love, it doesn't work, right? We bound by the title, but we got something funky happening.
Yeah,
that can be addressed. It's not saying that that it has to be the end. Sometimes it's like, look, I know you may not be feeling like you're getting your fair share in this relationship, and I may not. But instead of us secretly doing us away from one another, let's have a heart-to-heart. Is it worth working on, or is this an indicative sign that we just need to let it be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And go from there.
So not to deviate too far from this, but to segue back into the conversation that we started the show out on in terms of your barber friend, in terms of his whole situation. It seems like to me that somebody's not following the GPS.
Correct.
It seems like to me that somebody is ignoring all of the different alerts. You know what's interesting about the GPS too, which I really love, because I'm about to tell on myself. But one of the things that I really love about the GPS is the fact that if you're headed toward an accident, or if there's construction on the road, or even if there's a speed trap set up to catch those who are not obeying the speed limit. Okay, you know, I ain't gonna talk about nobody but me. I ain't gonna talk about nobody. Okay. There are notifications that will pop up on your GPS to alert you that there's a speed trap ahead. There's an accident ahead. Traffic is going to be slowing down, so you need to slow down your pace. But often, if we're not paying attention, we'll miss these notifications. And end up in a situation worse than what we started out in. What am I saying? What I'm saying is this: pay attention to the notifications.
They're there to help you.
They're absolutely there to help you. They're there to assist you so that you can make a better decision moving forward. So you don't end up in a bad way. So you don't end up with a ticket. Slow it down.
And stop delaying the battle between the notification and your feelings, because that's where the battle is. Feelings say I want to override and ignore what this GPS is telling me, because I done put in too much work. I done been here. I done spent my time. I done did all of these things. So I need to see an ROI before I abandon this route. This is the problem, right? So my thing is sometimes an abort is necessary. Sometimes it's necessary to abort the mission. And it's and realize maybe I was on the wrong assignment, right? I may have thought it, but if the assignment caused me more grief than the reward on the other side, it needs to push the little button. Remember those James Bond cars where you push the button and you get thrown out the car in the air?
Oh yeah, eject button. Eject button.
Eject button. Because sometimes that's the remedy, not remedy, but that's like the concoction that keeps us in these long and unhealthy relationships, because we refuse to listen to what's being told to us internally. We already know it, right? But we become scholars in justifying it.
Wow. Yeah.
Internally, we justify what we already know to be our truth papers. But in our mind, it's like, and listen, again, it doesn't matter what you feel. You know, some of these things, if we feel that we have been treated unjustly, treated wrong, unfair, played in our faces, sometimes you got to realize you are not God.
Right.
You got to leave the life work to him.
Yeah.
A lot of us feel like, oh, no, I can't. The Lord ain't going to get him or get her like I can. I know how to pay them back real good. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And a lot of times, that ends up putting us in such a bad spot.
Yeah.
Such a bad spot. More so we initially did. Yeah.
I just want to go back to what you were talking about, feelings and facts. And then this is a small truth, but it's a relevant truth, and it's a truth that we cannot ignore, especially when it comes to relationships. And that is that feelings are not facts. And I think a lot of times what happens is because of the fact that our emotions are involved, rightly so, our emotions should be involved.
Yeah.
But often we allow our emotions and we allow our feelings to override our ability to be rational and logical about the relationships that we're in. Wow. And when we, because of the fact we will ignore the personality cues that this person is giving us, that they are not ready to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
But because you feel what you feel, you will ignore the fact of the issue of their personality, and you will allow your feelings to lead you into a place that ends up compromising you, that ends up bringing you down further than where you should be.
Yeah.
You can't continue to ignore the facts that this person is not really thinking about you, that this person does not regard you, this person does not value you.
Right.
Because of your feeling. And again, it kind of goes back to the whole idea of us just focusing on one aspect of the person that makes us happy, that we enjoy. We ignore everything else about the person, but that one aspect becomes the whole. And we ignore the fact that there are some other issues, some underlying issues that if they are not addressed, they're going to mess us up in the long run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's important for us to not restrain, but to get a harness and a handle on our feelings so that we can properly observe the facts, properly investigate the facts, properly look at the facts for what they are, and make a rational, sound decision in regards to our relationships.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
That's good stuff. I mean, we just, like I said, we gotta, like you said, take that time and say to yourself, because all of us, if we take the honest peel and think and just kind of think on a prior relationship, maybe a present one, or a marriage, somewhere along the line, you saw a behavior or a reaction that, you're not God and you can't judge someone, right? But you knew that action wouldn't work for your life.
Right.
You knew that reaction wouldn't work for your life.
Right.
But you, in the long haul scheme of things, but you said to yourself, but I know, but maybe I mean, I can overlook. That's not too bad. And I can talk to them about it. And then only thing that happens is it grows and it grows and it grows and it gets worse. And now you are married to someone you can't stand. Because what you were warned about and what you saw, you chose to ignore it because it wasn't, it was manageable in the moment.
Right.
But in the long haul, it became something that you resented. And you was like, because think about it. There's nothing like a thing that peeve about that person that you know is like a game changer of divide. It grows. The more problems you have, the more apparent that peeve becomes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so we fool ourselves. And it's not that people have to be perfect, but you know when you are with somebody that you feel, you know what? I honestly feel like this person has my best interest. They got me.
Right.
Unless God going to prove me otherwise, that's how I feel. So I'm going to rock with it. Yeah. But you also know when you are with somebody and you know it's exciting, I like it, but it feels risky.
Right.
It feels like my emotions are on probation. It feels like it feels like at any given time I'm going to get arrested emotionally and I'm going to be in a trick bag, right? Yeah. So you got to be honest with yourself and say, is the thrill worth your psychological safety?
Wow.
Like, is that thrill worth it? Because at the end of the day, the thrill feels good in the interim. But it doesn't work long term.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let me just add this last bit to it. Real quick. I just want to say this real quick. So again, we all have our feelings. And again, some of us have allowed our feelings to override what we should do, the right thing that we should do. We allow our feelings to override the facts that we see. But I think the biggest detriment to this is that feelings don't last. Feelings are feelings. They come and they go. They don't last forever.
Yeah.
And we're making here's the thing that's problematic, Charles, and it really is disturbing, that we will make a lasting decision, a permanent decision based off some temporary feelings.
Yeah.
That is a real problem, because a lot of us right now, listen to this little show, are in permanent problems based off of temporary feelings.
Decision
we had 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. We were feeling the moment. We were feeling it. And maybe that feeling lasted for maybe a year or a year and a half. But after a while, that feeling began to fade because feelings don't last. Wow. They are feelings, and feelings are apt to change at any given moment in time, depending what your circumstances are. We're making permanent decisions off of feelings that fade, that find us in permanent problems. Facts don't fade. Facts are facts. Facts stand the test of time. And often, again, we are ignoring the facts for the sake of the feeling that we're feeling.
Yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying is we need to fall in love with the facts, not the feelings.
Come on.
When you are with the person, seek out all of those things that are true.
Yeah.
Not the things that just feel good, right? Yeah. Let the foundation be all of the things that are solid and true and are factual. The things you can put your hand and stamp on. But the things, all of the shows and the performances that come about emotion and feeling, it's okay to view it, but don't get caught up there. Fall for the facts, not the feelings. Yeah.
So again, I don't want to keep. We need to bring this to a close. But listen. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about some of the arguments that me and my wife have had over time. Yeah. And what I was feeling in the midst of the argument, the frustration and some of the why don't she get it? Why don't she understand it? That's what I was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
But I can't make a decision off of that feeling that is temporary. No, at the moment, we are not in agreement. At the moment, we're not on the same page. At the moment, we are at odds. But this moment is not going to last. This feeling is not going to last. Yeah. So I make a decision to divorce myself from her because of what I'm feeling in the moment. Yeah. I decide to go in a different direction because of what I'm feeling in the moment.
Wow.
See, the facts say you can't make a decision off of what you feel because she's faithful. And she loves you.
Yeah.
And she supports you. And she's always been there for you. These are facts.
Yeah, that's what
these are facts.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm going to, you can't sit here and ignore the facts for the sake of what you're feeling in the moment. It's just a moment. Trouble don't last always. Somebody touch your neighbor and say, trouble don't last always. It ain't gonna always be like that.
Church, go ahead. Come on,
man. But I'm just saying, we have to make better decisions as a people, not based on what we feel. And I think, again, if I'm speaking to my African American brothers and sisters, we are all in places that we really should not be in because we made a decision based off of what we feel.
Wow.
And ignored the fact that did not change. We got a couple more months left in 2024. Let's make a change in 2025, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's begin not to completely engage those feelings. Again, I'm not disregarding the feelings. They do have value, but they're temporary. They're temporary. You ain't gonna always feel the way you feel. But now, the facts ain't gonna change.
What you just said a second ago is really it's really good for solving a lot of these issues, because what you pretty much said is, in the moment of being frustrated in my feelings, I reflected back on the facts.
Come on, let's talk.
So what we should do is, when we're having these kinds of things where we quick to want to say, I'm done, you not doing this, and I'm not happy about all of these things that we come up with.
Right.
Take a moment, go back to the facts.
Okay. Come on.
Here's the things. If the facts don't balance out with the feelings, then you deal with how you got to deal with it, right? But I guarantee you, if you have something worth saving,
Yes.
Facts will outweigh the feelings.
Outweigh it every time.
On tonight.
On tonight.
All right. So listen, we appreciate you guys for tuning in today. I know we started out. We started off with the barbershop rhetoric, but it all things work together, right?
This was a good one. This was crazy, but it was good.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, because I promise you, I said to myself, I'm not gonna say nothing today. And when I got in there, he went to roll. I said, oh, but you said it perfectly at the end. You said it sounds like from every time I listen to him talk, I know that he claims that he loves her. But I also can hear a smidget of a self-esteem struggle. And I believe that's why he ignores the GPS.
Okay.
Because from listening to him, it's almost like there's the pain in there because he feels like I do a lot of good work for you, but you don't respect me, right? You don't respect me. That's why you're doing these little things on the side behind my back. And I'm over here trying to push the needle and make sure we good together, but you making side moves, right? So it hurts him. So no man wants to sit somewhere where he's being deliberately hurt. But if he stays there, it's because something is not balancing out with that self-esteem. And that's why he's staying there. So yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully he never ever sees this page. But anyway.
You know what, dude.
Appreciate you all for tuning in as usual. Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio will be back every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until a time comes where we may change the time. But for now, that's where we are. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I guess, I don't know, Adam may not he may not allow me to make trouble, but we'll see. We'll talk to you guys.
I don't control you.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a little jam right there. No, man, this was good. One thing I will say to the people, like I said, what Adam brought up was a good point. There's two ways to look at your inner GPS intuition. And that is, it's either to keep you safe as you navigate along, or it can guide you to where you belong. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Allow it to guide you to where you need to be, right? Or allow it to keep you safe on your journey, one way or the other. But you got to listen to it. You can't ignore it. You got to be honest and true to that, because truth be told, a lot of us know we have either participated in or are in some bogus situations that we should not be in. But because we ignored and let the system override, we still riding it out.
man. But you know what? Again, I think my thing is like, it's like, because if I allow my feelings to influence all of my decisions, I would not be where I am right now. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, and here's the other thing. So because of my feelings, I ended up in some spots that I should not have ended up in.
Wow.
But if we're honest as grown men and women, we have to acknowledge that our feelings have often led us astray.
For sure.
Our feelings have led us into places that we should not have been in. You know what I'm saying? And at some point in time, we got to be able to grow up and say, you know what? I'm not doing this like this no more. Yeah. I'm going to look at the situation for what it is. I'm going to disconnect my feelings from it so that I can make a sound decision for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, folks, we appreciate, as we said before, appreciate y'all for tuning in and hanging in there with us. Keep us in your prayers as we will keep you guys. And please like and share, y'all.
Yes, please like and share. Please like and share.
So we can continue to spread the love, and we're trying to grow the brand and grow the platform. Yeah. And so, as much as you all feel, hey, I don't believe in pressing nobody to do nothing, but if you feel led, support us, like and share. Much love to y'all, and until we see you again, God bless. All right.
Peace. Happy birthday, everybody.
Oh, now he wants to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody.
I guess you gotta put your cash app out there next week.
Already put it out there. It's already out there.
I'm teasing, man. I'm teasing. All right.